As runners, we all challenge ourselves in ways we never thought possible, pushing the boundaries of what we're capable of to smash through targets and set ourselves new, bigger and better ones.
This awesome hobby that we share gives us one thing in common, and it brings us together as a community. Whether you're working towards completing your first parkrun or you're a veteran of the sport who's run 100 ultra marathons, we all know the feeling of reaching that maxed out effort and our own red line.
Welcome to our podcast, where your hosts Brett Elesmore and Andy Maguire discuss the struggles, the successes and everything in between on our running journeys, as we all work towards the next time we're running the red line. Hello and welcome to episode 59 of Running the Red Line. I am your host Brett, and I am joined as always by my co-host Andy. How are you doing this week, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Not too bad. I nearly destroyed another drone today.
Oh, what?
At work. Yeah, but it lives to tell the tale. So at work today, I had a rather uninspiring job, which was basically filming a building site when they wanted some drone photos of before this warehouse goes up, video. Yeah. So I started all of a sudden thinking I was blooming Michael Mann and directing like these stupid, crazy wide shots. And I did one in the middle of the site was this heap of dirt and earth where the digger keeps, getting earth from. So I thought it'd be really cool to just go straight over it or come back and reveal all the diggers and stuff, but I didn't even get over it. I just reversed straight into it, and I was looking at the back because I flew over it. So I thought, right, I've definitely managed to. I'm definitely at the height I need. So I took that was my first mistake. So I took my eye off the drone and I started looking at the back of my screen. Then I started reversing, so you can't obviously see what's behind you when you look at your screen. And I don't know what had happened. I'd obviously got my trajectory wrong, or I don't know. So the feed just went crazy, and all I could see was blue sky. I was like, oh, God, don't tell me I've broken it. And then I had to literally run onto this building site with a hard hat and a high-vis jacket in 48 degrees, whatever it was today. It's what it felt like. And I had to run. I felt like Legend from Gladiator running up this heap of earth, because every step I took 2 steps back. It was like running up the Dune of Doom on Woolacombe Dunes. But I found it. up this hill. I don't know if you can see that. That's like a really steep mound of earth.
Yeah.
And it's at the top of there. And
oh man.
And there it is, upside down. And I had to run up and get it, and then I quickly made a swift exit. But
did it still work afterwards and everything, or was there anything you had to fix?
I haven't done a test flight. The props look fine. The gimbal looks okay. It's quite a hardy little thing, this thing. So to be honest, I was like, right. And do you know what the joke was as well? I'd already done one flight with one battery, and I thought, no, that's enough. And I thought, no, go on, we'll do a little bit more. I'm only making 30 seconds worth of footage for them. I don't know why I did more. And then I flew it again and crashed it. So that's always the number one rule of drone flying, is don't get cocky. But that's what happens when you fly a drone. You start thinking like you're a bloody maverick. You start thinking you're Tom Cruise. Yeah. And you quickly remember that you're not. So, so I made a swift exit. And
did you break one of the drone rules as well then? Because it isn't one of the flying rules that you've always got to have an eyesight of your drone. You can't fly it further than where you can see.
And it's time for comments and emails. So it's time for shoes news. Yes, you're correct. I did lose VLOS, visual line of sight. But no, actually, the joke was I actually could see it. But then it went over the little mound of earth and I couldn't anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did lose VLOS. So yeah, you've just exposed me as a law breaker. It's
all right. It wasn't like it was really far away. It was just hidden behind a mound of dirt.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my eventful afternoon. But apart from that, that was all good. You must be feeling good. I've seen your Strava. You're back to you're back to your running ways, pretty much, aren't you?
Yeah, not quite right yet. Still a way to go, but yeah, really happy
You've
with
got that perfect like half
the
pipe graph
trajectory.
now, haven't you? On your, I noticed your Strava curve
Yes,
of your
it's,
volume, and it's
I was going to say, like, this week has been a big turnaround again. And this week, how many miles do you reckon I've done on the bike this week?
oh, well, bearing in mind you've got that 3-to-1 rule, so I don't know, probably, or maybe you've reduced it because you're running more.
Yeah.
Let's say 60.
So far this week, 0.
Oh wow! Oh, that's great news.
Just running this week so far, which is ace.
Brilliant.
Yeah, well happy.
So you really have reduced it then.
Yeah, yes, very much so. But yeah, I wouldn't say running is 100% okay at the moment. But it's way better than it was.
Yeah.
I'd say my left leg now, it's more of an uncomfortable tightness rather than pain. It's not really pain anymore, which is good. But it is like preventing me from running full pelt. But I've also, I think I mentioned it last week, my right quad, so the good leg, went ping while I was stretching a couple of weeks ago. And on Sunday's long run, I felt it go a little bit again. So I'm being a little bit cautious and careful to make sure that it doesn't go fully, because that could then put me out from not even the injury that's put me out for the last few weeks.
You need to go on like a Norfolk training camp to the Norfolk Broads where there's no hills, because the quad will be fine. It'll be fine in Norfolk, won't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what though? That's an absolute lie, because I went to Norwich. There's going to be a lot of partridgeisms now. But what do you think of the pedestrianised centre of Norwich City Centre? I think it's a good idea. Like, well, you're wrong. Anyway, sorry. I went to Norwich, and it's hilly. Norwich City Centre is really, really quite hilly. And I was like, I thought Norwich was supposed to be flat. It's not. But obviously, Norfolk, there are big areas and stretches of Norfolk where there are some, no hills at all, and they get what they call the big skies, because everywhere you look, there's not really many hills in the way. But yeah, I remember thinking Norwich was more hilly than I thought it was. So not nice city though, Norwich. Really, really, really nice place. Really nice place.
I was going to say, did you see Delia Smith? I think that's Norwich, isn't it?
Yes, let's be having you. We need a 12th man. Where are you? Let's be having you. That was brilliant when she came on the pitch and had to go at all the Norwich fans. That was brilliant. She sounded drunk, and she wasn't. She just sounded like a drunk auntie.
She probably was. She's a cook, isn't she? She probably was.
She's hot. Yeah. I should off her face on mustard, maybe. I don't know. Coleman's mustard.
That's more like smelling salts, isn't it? She's just like high on life because of the mustard.
What's your opinion on mustard? Here we go. This is a running podcast. What's your opinion on mustard? Do you like it on a burger or a hot dog?
Oh,
English mustard.
Yeah.
Do you like the feeling of your eyeballs melting though? Because
you know what? Sometimes I really do. Yes. Sometimes when you take a bite and it takes you aback and you go, oh man, yeah. Sometimes I really like that.
What is it that sometimes surface steak? Is it horseradish?
Horseradish, yes.
Yeah, that's got a similar kick, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's nice
and
as well.
It like really clears your nostrils, doesn't it?
It's like wasabi.
Yes. Wow. Now that stuff is potent, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is a real face melter if you have too much of that. But I'm not a massive Japanese connoisseur really. What would you have wasabi with? Like a chicken curry or
sushi and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. But I
wa-
always
wasabi and some soy sauce on a little bit of sushi is
crispy
really nice.
chicken. I always play it safe when we go to like Wagamama's. They always have a katsu curry.
Oh
And
yes, yeah.
I'm
See,
a big fan of a katsu curry.
I'm not a raw fish man at all. So when I have sushi, I normally have the cooked sushi or the chicken or like something like that, or the smoked salmon and things.
Does Yo Sushi drive you mental though? How expensive it is for those little dishes?
Yeah,
Each one
and
is like £7, isn't it? For like a
yeah,
mouthful,
because
a bit of seaweed,
the
£9.
different
What?
the
Yeah,
different dishes that are coming around on the conveyor belt, they've got
yeah,
different colours and it's colour coded by how
yeah,
expensive it is. But you
yeah.
don't really think about that, do you? You see it and you go, "Oh, that looks nice." So you grab it and then realise it's 14 quid.
Yeah. But I again, I haven't been to Yo Sushi for a while, probably for that reason, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, Japanese food's pretty good. But
The best thing from Yo Sushi though is the crispy shredded beef.
sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very good.
that sounds really nice. What's that Japanese style of eating? Is it called teppanyaki, where they throw the food at you and you've got to catch it? I think it's teppanyaki, where there's like a chef in the middle of the restaurant.
Oh yes, yeah. The one who
and you have
cooks
to
it in front of you.
Yeah, and he throws your food and you have to catch it on your plate, I think.
Yeah,
So I don't know
brilliant.
if that's a touristy thing or if that's
Yeah,
actually what they do in Japan.
have you seen those ones where they've got the spatula and they juggle with an egg on the spatula as well?
No, that sounds
No.
pretty impressive. No,
Yeah. That's one of those chefs in the middle of the thing and cook it in front of you, and they do like
yeah,
juggling with an egg on a spatula, and then the
yeah.
last thing they do is catch it on the edge of it, and it breaks onto the hot plate in front of them, and they start cooking it. Very clever.
That's quite impressive, isn't it? Yeah, that's quite impressive. I wonder if you learn that on the job, or if you're really good at egg juggling, you get the job straight away.
I can't cook at all, but I can juggle an egg.
Right, get him in. Friday night, get the apron on, mate. You're in. I can only do omelets. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, the other one they do that you see some little video clips of is they slice an onion and then stack an onion like a volcano, fill it with oil, and then set it on fire so it looks like a volcano burning.
Do you, that's a good point, actually. If we ever went to do the Tokyo Marathon, for example, or a country where in the, let's just say, the Western world, you know, if you're in America, you'd feel safe, wouldn't you? You know that you could wake up in the morning or marathon morning, you could get the breakfast that you really wanted. But if you're in, say, Japan, like, do they have like sori malt loaf in Japan? Like, I mean, you'd have to like acclimatize to the foods, wouldn't you? I guess.
I think I'd just eat rice, and a bit more rice.
Yeah. Keep it bland.
Sticky sushi rice is so good.
Yeah. That probably would be really quite good for your marathon, actually, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Carb loading and a bit more carb loading.
Yeah. So, but that probably would scare me a little bit if I did a race in a country that wasn't American or Mediterranean or Westernized in some way.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh my God, everything's with chopsticks. What on earth am I going to eat? Where's the bagels? Where's the granola?
Yeah.
So I probably would have to adjust fairly quickly to that. But is that on your bucket list one day, Tokyo?
Oh, I'd love to. It's just the expense. It'd be even more expensive than doing an American one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably would. I don't know why, but out of the majors, it's the one that excites me the least. I don't know why. But for that reason, maybe that would make it the best. I don't know. Because the others might have a hype to them that might not live up to your expectations of what it would be like. So yeah, I don't know.
So on a scale of 1 to 7, so Tokyo would be 7. of the majors. So what would be 1 to 6 if Tokyo's 7?
Well, I'll go from the bottom up.
Okay.
So then the next least one I would probably want to do.
I really wanted to do the really old school do 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 for the top 10 singles.
Tony Blackburn.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're all so close together. I'd probably say Chicago 6 because I don't know so much about it, apart from the fact that there's world records there. Obviously, I know it's a very fast course, and
Chicago.
Chicago. So that would probably be in 6. 5 probably would be Berlin for the same sort of reason.
Okay.
And then it would be a shootout then between London, New York, Boston. Well, those 3, wouldn't it? Is there one I've not said? And Sydney. I think London would be. I think I'll put Sydney in the middle, in 4th, then Boston, then London, then New York. I really love New York culture. I love everything about New York, NYC, and I know it's an amazing marathon. So, and I know it's not an easy marathon either. So finishing that marathon will probably feel extra special as well, because I know how hard you have to work for it.
Yeah.
Not that you don't have to work hard for any other marathons, but yeah. What about you? What would your top 7 be?
I think not sure. I think at the top, the one I want to do most after I've done London is probably Boston. It's the home of the marathon, isn't it? And just to be able to say that you've qualified number 1 and then been there and run those hills, including Heartbreak Hill, at the end, that I think that would be up there definitely. As you say, New York sounds incredible just because of where it is. New York just looks crazy, doesn't it? Is the one we're missing?
We've got Chicago, Sydney,
Berlin,
Tokyo. Have you said London?
Tokyo,
yeah. So you're putting London on top of your list, basically. Are you saying London's the best?
At this moment in time, that's where my head's at. So yes.
Yeah.
But once I've done, because I've done London 5 times, haven't I already? And it's still up there in my head. I want to go back and do it. So obviously there's something big about London that I love. So yes, at this moment in time, 3 weeks out, London is the number 1 for me to go to. Second, Boston.
London, Boston, New York.
And then New York.
So you got Sydney, Tokyo.
Yeah.
Chicago. Berlin.
Yeah. I'd say, I don't know, I'd possibly put the Windy City at the bottom.
Would you?
Yeah, put Chicago at the bottom.
You just don't want that big deep pan pizza. Not interested.
No, I'm more of a.
You don't want a pizza pie? No chance.
More of a thin crust guy. What else? Sydney looks great. Just the finish coming into Sydney Opera House.
That would be special. Yeah,
fantastic. And the fact it's the other side of the world. That's just a really enticing thing, isn't it? To see what's the other side of the globe. Would be quite cool. So what else have we got? So Sydney 4, and then
Tokyo, Berlin, or Chicago.
Yeah. I'd possibly put Tokyo above Berlin.
Would you?
Yeah, just because Tokyo, just experiencing the city of Tokyo afterwards would be crazy.
Yeah.
Going to a robot diner or the Pokemon cafe, or
Yeah.
Going and driving a Mario Kart go-kart around the streets of Tokyo would be amazing.
Did I tell you about that Netflix show called Alice in Borderland? So
No,
it's
but I have heard
basically
of it.
very similar to Squid Games.
Oh,
That
okay,
sort
yeah.
of thing. I controversially think it's better. I actually think it is. So it would be definitely worth checking out, especially if you love Japanese culture. It's just really cool. Everything from the Japanese haircuts to the style to the clothes they wear. They're a cool culture, Japanese. I think maybe I'm being a bit harsh on Tokyo putting it last. But I don't know. As a marathon, it does excite me the least out of the lot of them. But you never know. That could all change. And this time next year, I might be talking about how I've just done Tokyo Marathon. Loved it. But you know,
you know what you got to do, don't you? You've got to become a bigger influencer and just get free entries into all the majors.
Yeah, that's controversial, isn't it? Yeah, that's that's the way it's done, though, isn't it? It's
yeah. That makes it a bit cheaper for you, doesn't it? When it's all expensive paid.
But would you, if you are offered a place, would you say yes to Boston if you're offered a place in Boston, or would you want to qualify for Boston?
I'd love to qualify for Boston, but you'd be a fool to turn it down, wouldn't you?
Yeah, if you're offered one of these...
This is the thing. These influencers, yes, they get a hard time because they're getting into a marathon. But if somebody walked up to you and said, hey, do you want a free entry to our marathon and then we'll pay for your travel?
Who's going to say no to that?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, yes, we do give them a hard time and people give them a hard time for getting these free places. But only a fool would say no. So if you're going to get offered that, of course you're going to take the place.
Yeah. I definitely would. I think most people probably would. But hot topic. But maybe that's for another evening to chew the fat on, because we're trying to keep our podcast to 2 hours, and we're still on the chit chat phase. So but yeah. So what have we got? Well, we were mentioning before that this weekend is the Brighton Marathon is this weekend.
It is this weekend. This Sunday we are properly now in marathon season, aren't we? We are well and truly underway.
Your Strava and your Instagram feeds for the next month are just going to be inundated with people wearing bits of metal around their neck, and then a photo dump of them pulling the worst faces imaginable.
Gary Manders is going to love it.
He's going to love it. Of course he is. He's going to love it. Yeah. So, So I've got fond memories of this particular weekend from, where are we now? 2025. I did it 2022, so 3 years ago. And I've got very, very fond memories from my first ever marathon, which was the Brighton Marathon. And I did it in 4:22. I wanted 4 hours 30. There's a lot of things I probably would do differently now, if I were going into it. Yeah, like Rod Stewart says, I wish that I knew. Hang on, no, that's not what he sings about. I wish that I knew. I wish that I know what, and what is it? I wish that I knew what I know now when I was younger. So my point is, I made a lot of mistakes, I think, nutrition-wise, pacing-wise. But if it's your first marathon, you've got to make those mistakes for yourself and learn the hard way, because that's what the marathon is. It's a life lesson, isn't it?
Yeah.
And lots of people will tell you how to run a perfect marathon. But when it's your first marathon, you're out there on your own, and there's a good chance that at some point you will be running further than you ever have before in your life. Yeah. And you really feel like you're drowning, and it really is all encompassing, really, the overwhelmingness, the overwhelming feeling of a marathon, especially 23 miles in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got some great memories of Brighton, but they've changed the course since I did it. Since London Marathon Events took over, I think it was London Marathon events that changed the course. But it's still got its first half and second half, which remain very similar. For example, the first half is where you do all the hills.
Yeah.
And then the second half is mostly around Hove, which is a little bit further up the coast from Brighton. And not a lot of people like this, but Brighton has lots and lots of sections where you pass runners. And there are
like out and backs.
Yeah, which is good, I think, because sometimes when there are areas where there's no support, you can get support from other runners.
And
you can get energy from people shouting you or seeing the same club colours as you got, or whatever it is. You might keep crossing paths with the same sort of people. So yeah, Brighton does have a lot of out and backs in it. So I don't think you'll ever truly feel like you're on your own. And I think they took the industrial estate bit out, which was a bit rubbish.
Yeah, because when I watched your video, I was like, oh man, this isn't the best of roads to be running down in a marathon this far in.
Yeah, so I think they've made more miles happen around Hove, where there is entertainment, where there are people. So yeah, best of luck to everybody that is running Brighton this weekend. And if it is your first marathon, I know exactly how you feel, because Brighton was mine. I remember just being in, what's that park called where it all starts? Preston Park, I think it's called. And I remember just feeling so nervous. I was doing like yoga poses. I was just doing like pigeon pose and stuff. I didn't have a clue how to warm up. And I was just like, but that just made me just feel like I had a little bit of control rather than just sat down watching other people thinking I'm so nervous. So yeah, I think if you can keep yourself busy on the warm up, that's one of the best things to do. And go chat to other runners as well, because everyone is probably just as nervous as you.
Yeah, that is something. When you go to a race and it's a new thing and you're really nervous, you try and keep yourself to yourself, don't you? But going and speaking to a few people will really ease your nerves, because everybody's in the same boat and everybody is willing to chat. There's nobody who's going to say, "Oh, get lost. I don't want to have a chat with you." Everybody's going to be friendly and everybody will chat.
And if there is one group of people that like talking about their hobby, it's runners.
Runners, yeah.
So if you just find yourself in the pen or during the run, a little bit of small talk could be, is this your first marathon, or have you done Brighton before? What brought you to Brighton, that sort of thing. Oh, hello. Is that Bobes or Misa? I can't tell.
It is Boba.
Boba!
Yeah.
All right, Bobes.
Say hello.
All right, Bobes. Oh, hey, mate. Oh, Misa's just about to do you dirty in the background. Yeah, she's about to... she's going to go for it. She's coiling. Oh. She's going to go for it. She's going.
No.
Oh, no, got you scared then. Got you nervous, didn't it?
Come on.
There's too much expensive stuff up there, Lisa. Don't try him. Don't try him. But yeah, I think just chatting to other marathoners can ease your own nerves as well. I remember on my first marathon chatting to or listening to other people chatting, and I remember being at the halfway point, which is just probably about 10 miles actually, was where you run out down towards a place called Rottingdean. You run sort of east down the coast. And I remember listening to this group of people behind me, and one of them just didn't even have a watch, didn't have Strava. I remember the other runners were like, "Why? What? How do you do this? How can
you prove you've even run it if it's not on Strava?"
Yeah. And they're like, so that was quite funny, because I remember just thinking, I've lived my life by this little thing on my watch, and the last 16 weeks, this has been God. And this person behind me didn't even know what pace they were running. They were just happy to be running the Brighton Marathon. And you'll see people in fancy dress, and you can have a bit of fun with the crowd as well, because crowds in Brighton are always well up for it. And you're by the sea as well.
Oh yeah.
And for us folk that don't live by the sea, it is an amazing novelty to just run by the sea.
Yeah, and the air is very different by the sea, isn't it, compared to
Yeah,
us inland?
slap that factor 50 on, because this could be the first sun that you're having all year, and you could finish the same color as your jumper. You could be finishing like a beetroot. So, because it's
Yeah,
a long time to be on your feet unprotected from the sun.
yeah.
So get some factor 50 on if you're marathoning or long running this weekend. But yes, best of luck to everyone running Brighton.
Yeah. The worst part, though, is you finish and you can't even go and relax on the beach because it's all pebbles.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. Trying to get comfy on that in beach afterwards. Oh, that was difficult. That really was difficult. Yeah. I think you'd enjoy Brighton, you know. I think Brighton's like there was this one bit, I don't know if you can remember this in my video, but if you time it right, or maybe these guys just go up and down the promenade, I don't know. But there's all, you know, like the Italian job minis.
Yeah.
The old proper 1960s minis. There's a whole like community of mini drivers, and what are the motorbikes called from like Quadrophenia, that age? The mods would Vespers. Yeah. So there's loads of mods down there as well, because it's obviously the mod capital of the world. And just there's all these people just driving minis up and down, and they'll honk the horn at you, and they'll can have a bit of fun with them. So that was on the seafront, as I remember.
Yeah, because with the minis and the Vespers and the scooters and stuff, there is always like there's a cruise that they do from London to Brighton all the time, all like the vintage cars and stuff. So I don't know whether that's happening at the same sort of time as Brighton, and that's why they're all down there, or I'm not sure.
Yeah. But I'd seen that in someone's video the year before mine. And a bit like when I did the Great North Run, I'd had all these things in my head that I wanted to see. Like there was a big paraglider that I saw that I'd seen in someone else's video that was paragliding over all the runners along the seafront, which is awesome. I saw the minis, the guys in the minis. And there's a few other things that I can't think off the top of my head now. But it's just a really cool place to run. And I'm kind of jealous now, really, that everyone's going to get their marathon done. But everyone who's running this weekend, if they've done like a 16-week training block, they will have started before Christmas, I think, because Brighton's one of the earliest in the calendar, isn't it? Apart from probably Tokyo, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
so,
I'm doing a 15-week block for London, which is in 3 weeks' time. So I'm on week 12 this week, and I started in like the second week of January. So yeah, they would have started back in December.
Yeah. And I think it might not be a bad thing getting your marathon out of the way if this weather is anything to go by, because it just feels like it's getting warmer and warmer. So us guys, do you mind? You okay in the heat? Do you mind?
Yeah, okay? I don't mind it being warm. I quite like it.
Yeah. So would you be okay if it's sort of 25 degrees? It'd be good Valencia training.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. I don't know if I'd want it that warm for a race, but I don't mind it being like in the early teens.
Yeah. That's why. Sorry to toot my own horn. I nearly stopped myself saying that. But no, I am proud of myself for running a PB in Valencia in that heat, because
definitely.
It is a difficult thing to do. And some people just fold like a deck of cards, don't they, in the heat?
Yep.
Because their body just says no. Some people are blooming like excrement off a shovel in freezing cold weather. And I'm not like that at all. I can't get going in cold weather. So I actually think I might actually be better runner in mild and warmer temps, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But horses for courses, isn't it? So and you can only run in the conditions that you've got on the day. Exactly. And that's what they say. Control the controllables, and the weather ain't one of them.
Exactly. Same as you can only race the people who are there in the race. You can only do the race on the day and the time when it's set. There is no other time to do it.
No. So you've just got to go and give it everything in the moment you're in. So
enjoy Brighton, everyone. It's a lovely place to to be running. Brighton's a really nice place. So,
and if the forecast, let's just have a quick look. So Brighton. So if I just have a look at the weather. So the weather here, by the way, have you seen what it's like here for next week?
no.
It's Scorchio. I'm going to have to hold this up to the camera. So that's what. Can you see all those sunshines? See all those suns?
Oh, yeah, nice.
That's the next week.
Yeah.
Scorchio.
Oh, yeah, I'm just looking. So we've got 18 is the best day next week.
Is it
18 degrees? So yeah, that's
so
pretty good, isn't it?
Looking at Brighton, it's exactly the same. Just sunny, sunny, sunny. Saturday the 5th, highs of 16 and 17. This is air temperature, obviously, not in the direct sun. And then Sunday the 6th, I think this is nice, if it can be believed. At 1 o'clock, highs of 13 in the sun.
Perfect.
So maybe add 5 degrees onto that if you're running on the hot tarmac, or maybe a bit more. But yeah, if you're sort of starting at 9 o'clock at 9 degrees, that's not far off ideal conditions.
That's perfect running weather, yeah.
So yeah, you might have timed this to perfection if you're running the Brighton Marathon.
Nice. Yeah. So, excellent.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be a wealth of videos coming out soon about it. But yeah,
if anybody is running Brighton, who is listening right now, write in and let us know how you get on Sunday, and we will give you a shout out on the pod next week.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So I was going to say, shall we? Because I've got a lot of emails and comments to try and plow through. Yeah. Shall we move on to another segment, another thing?
Just quickly before we do, I was just going to say there is also Southampton Marathon happening this weekend, and our good friend Sam Bauer, it will be running it, fueled probably by Guinness or 5K in the last
sandwiches. Yeah, so good old Sam. He's such a cruiser in life. He's just so naturally casual about running, and it's so refreshing because he's just got such a laid back approach to it. Yeah. But he's so good at it. And I think that just drives us all mental. Because we all spend so much time and money on gear and the perfect training block and the perfect amount of sessions and recovery. And Sam just goes and runs one night long run, and then just goes and does a marathon. So I think Sam would be, he would be aiming for around about 3:30 in Southampton. Mm-hmm. I said to him, I'm backing him for a 3:28.
Yeah, I reckon 3:28 as well.
3:28. So because bear in mind, Sam is running 19-minute low 5Ks.
I was going to say, this is the thing. He will plod around and go and do runs all over the place, just nice, easy plodding, and then he will turn up to Parkrun one week, smash a sub 20, and then next week just plodding around, not really.
35 minutes, and then the next one we'll do in 19. So he's and he did 43 something for his Wolves 10K. So he can run, he can lock in, and he can endure the pain cave. So and he is a fan of a negative split as well. So yes, Sam is quite sensible when it does come to long distance racing. So and he's also
also a fan of picking people off in the last little finish straight. So on that finish at Southampton, it'll be like what's his name? Is it Moses parting the water?
Yeah. Like the Red Sea.
Sam Bauer parting the crowds, just running through all of them.
Yeah. Oh, funny stuff. Yeah. So he's a fan of finishing strong. It was Sam who famously beat his brother by about 4 seconds in the Paris Marathon last year. So the Battle of the Bowers. But good luck to you, Sam, mate. I hope you have a good one.
Good luck, mate.
And good luck to anybody racing this weekend.
Yeah. Right. So what segment would you like to go on to now?
Well, should we talk a little bit about us and our training?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can do. Yeah.
I've actually got a training week to talk about this week.
Yeah. Well, why don't? Because you've had a good week. Let's start with you then. So, starting from last Saturday, I guess.
So, last Saturday was probably the worst day of the past week.
Right.
To be honest, but that was partly due to my my silly work schedule and taking care of myself routine was probably why I felt so bad. Basically, because we spoke last week, didn't we? We did the pod in the day rather than in the evening. Because I had a load of work to get done. I ended up finishing at my shop. I finished printing at about midnight, and then by the time I'd packed everything together, made sure I'd got everything for trading the next day, made sure I'd got all my price lists and all my labels and all the stuff I needed packed up, ready to go. I didn't get to bed till probably 3:30, and then had just under 4 hours of sleep because I was up at like just gone 7, and then went up and traded all day. Didn't really eat. Had probably a couple of slices of malt loaf and a couple of sweets during the day, and was on my feet all day. Obviously trading, mega busy. Got home from doing that and thought, right, I'll go for my run now. And obviously I was knackered, hadn't eaten properly. I was run down because I'd worked till stupid o'clock in the night before. And just the whole run just felt naff. My leg felt naff. I felt naff. And it just wasn't a pleasant run. So I ended up doing 11 miles at 7:53 a mile. So just nice, easy pace. But I felt so bad that I just went, right, the rest of the evening, all I'm going to do is, because I didn't get out for my run till 5:15 in the evening. So by the time I'd got back, I was like, right, all I'm going to do for the rest of the night is relax, eat, actually have something of substance, and focus on recovering for tomorrow's long run. So I got 11 miles done, so that was okay, but it wasn't very nice. And then on the Sunday, I woke up and I felt a bit more fresh, but I had a very long lie-in, and I think I ended up having about 9 hours of sleep, so way more than I normally get. And I felt a lot fresher. I'd actually eaten the night before, so I felt a bit better, and I was fully rested. So got all my kit on, put me Evo SLs on, and I thought I'll go out for my long run. I had in my head I wanted to try and get 16 mile in. So I thought I'm going to go out, just run steady. And I set off, and my pace was faster than I thought it was going to be. And I was like, this doesn't feel too bad. My leg was all right. It wasn't great, but I was like, I can put up with this. It was like a pain I could put up with. It wasn't really hindering me. So my steady pace then ended up being sub 7 minute pace per mile. So my first mile was 7:32, and then the second mile was 6:59. So I'd got into that sort of around sort of sub 3 pace. So 6:51 a mile is a sub 3 marathon. And I basically continued that pace all the way up to 13 miles. And it was quite hilly, the route as well. It wasn't like it was flat. It was one of my normal hilly routes. And I decided at the end of mile 13 to try and pick up the pace and try and run target marathon pace for a couple of miles. So I did mile 14 and 15 at 6:20 and a 6:28, which amazed me, the fact that I managed to do that, and then brought it back down to a 6:41 for the 16th mile. But my average across the 16 miles was 6:52 a mile. So 1 second a mile off sub 3 pace. So I was very, very happy with that.
Nice.
As I said, my leg felt okay, not great, but it felt okay. And yeah, I managed to get through it. And then when I got home, I jumped on the bike and did exactly the same route. So I did another 16 mile, but on the bike. And yeah, just flushed out the legs and felt pretty decent. So that was a really good Sunday and a really positive way to move into this week, which is peak week because it is my week 12. So Monday, I then did 8 miles, really easy, up to my shop via the post office. And then I did 5 miles back from a shop, again, nice and easy. But as I said earlier in the pod, on the Sunday, in that 15th mile, I felt my quad on the right-hand side go slightly. So I now want to try and be careful with it. So, everything was a bit sore on the Monday, but it's going to be because I just run the longest I've run for weeks and weeks and weeks at a much faster pace than I've run for weeks and weeks and weeks. So, and then on Tuesday, I got up. No, I didn't get up. I was at work at college and managed to get out during lunchtime to run 4.25 mile at 7:34 a mile average. So that was decent. So like just over half an hour of running, 32 minutes of running. And then in the evening, I went out and did 7 miles round the lake and back to meet up with a B&R group to do their warm-up with them. And I ran 1.5 miles warm-up with them and then ran 2.5 miles back to the gym. So that was 11 miles in total. Just, again, nice. It's between easy and steady sort of pace. So that was pretty decent. And then did my cross trainer in the evening for half an hour and then ran 2.5 miles back from the gym after doing my S&C. So that was, a decent Tuesday. So I think what was that in total? So there was 4.25 miles in the morning, 11 miles. What's that? 15.25, and then 2.5 on the way back. So that's 17.75 on the Tuesday miles.
Yeah, nice.
So decent day. And then yesterday I managed to get out in the morning for 8.25 miles. And then that was again between easy and steady pace. So 7:41 a mile average. So just over an hour for 8.25 miles. And as soon as I got back from there, jumped in the shower, got changed and drove over to Bromsgrove for my third and final session with Rob at Superhumans and his magic fingers. And I'm actually going to tell you about this a little bit because it was interesting because he obviously the last 2 sessions have been different because the first session was quite all over my body, try and get rid of any problems that was going on. The second one was like a continuation, but he focused more on my legs and my lower legs to try and balance them out and things. This time, he got me to stand in front of the mirror and he went, "Oh, this is really strange because you've got like an upper body twist." And I was standing, so my feet were pointing one way, but my body was twisted slightly. So he did loads of stuff to straighten me all up and everything, and I ended up straightening up. And then he said, right, I'm going to do a few things that I haven't done before to try and see if we can sort things out. And he said one of them was for my torso. And he said, apparently, if he does things where both of his fingers are touching on the same side of the body, that's usually to do with releasing pain and getting rid of pain stuff. But if he does stuff where it's opposites on the opposite side of the body, it's to do with releasing things and relaxing things. And he got me to sit on a chair, but slightly forward on the chair and lean back so he could reach like the side of my groin and just above my shoulder blade. And he said, so the release normally happens where the lines cross in the middle. So he said, this is to release all of the middle of your body and the middle of your torso. and he put his finger on like the outside of my groin, and then one finger just above my shoulder blade, pressed ever so gently, and he held it for about 10 seconds. And after about 8 seconds, my stomach went like it was all loosening up and everything around it. And he just went, yeah, thank you. Moved to the other side, did it again, and started gurgling and all things. And you could feel everything loosening up. It was bizarre.
Wow.
And he then got me stood in front of the mirror, and he said, yeah, you've got a bit of tension there. So he like was pressing bits on my side, and I could feel my left arm relax and start to loosen up and just sit in a much more comfortable position from where I was holding it. A bit funny.
Yeah. This guy has never once, for the want of a better term, manhandled you.
No.
Never once pressed you in a way that's caused you any discomfort or pain.
No.
It's literally just a boop.
Yeah, just a gentle finger pressure. There's a couple of things where it gets his thumbs and pull and like strokes across certain things where you go, oh, that, but it's not painful. You just go, oh, that's different. But most of it is just gentle finger pressure. So
I guess say gentle finger in there. That's why you keep going back.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
But as he said, that like he said to me when I first went, he said, if I can't fix it in 3 sessions, then I can't do it. There's nothing I can do. You need to go and see someone else or get something else done. But what he's done seems to have worked, and I'm hoping that yesterday's session will kick in again, ready for Sunday, and I'll feel pretty decent on Sunday. Yeah. But then, after I'd seen him, I then came back home and did a bit of work and everything. And then at 5:30 in the afternoon, well, early evening, I got out and did 2 miles easy pace. And then, because I did 8 miles in total to go and meet the B&R group again. But I did 2 miles easy, and then decided to pick up the pace slightly and did 6 miles at the faster side of steady. So again, like that sub 3 pace. So I did 6 miles at about 6:51 a mile, which, I was quite pleased about that. I managed to have that pace. Again, being cautious because of my right quad, I didn't want to push it too far. But then once I'd got to them at 8 miles, I then did 2 miles really easy with their warm-up, which was across the fields and on the grass. So a bit different to normal pounding. Instead of pounding the roads, it was quite nice to get out on the fields and stuff. And then after they'd finished their warm-up, they were going to the track to do a session. I went out and did another 3.25 miles as a loop before coming back to the gym. Then jumped on the cross trainer and did half an hour on the cross trainer again. Did my S&C, and then ran home another 2.5 mile. But that was a really nice, gentle, easy plod. Really, really easy. I did like 8:48 a mile average. So it was proper gentle plod in the last 2.5 mile. But that means that yesterday I did a total of 24 miles of running.
Yesterday you did 24 mile?
Yeah.
Wow, flipping out.
So this week, after 3 days of running, so Monday, Tuesday and Thursday, I'm on 55 miles already, which is what I did in total running last week.
Yeah, you must be feeling like a new man.
I am a very happy Brett at the moment and quite positive. So as long as my quad holds up and my leg doesn't get any worse, it just stays like it is. I'm hoping that this weekend I'm going to go and do Parkrun tomorrow, probably get about 10 mile in total. We're running down there and running back. And then Sunday, I'm going to try for a 20 mile long run with maybe some bits of marathon pace in there to see if it's possible or not.
Nice.
So Sunday is the tester.
Yeah.
but it will be time to bring out all the race kit as well and try all that out before
the Pro
before the
4s.
marathon. So the Pro 4s will come out on Sunday. The new singlet will come out. The gel shorts will be on.
I bet you're mega excited for that.
Socks. Yeah.
You're going to be like, tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be a marathon runner. And you're going to come out in all your gear.
Yeah. So, yeah, it will be a test. So I'm thinking at the moment to do something similar to what I did at the Fission last year. So 20 miles in 5-mile blocks, slightly progressing each 5 miles. But that all depends on how I feel on Sunday, whether my leg plays ball, whether my quad is okay or not. So I'm going to play it by ear and see what happens.
Oh, exciting. Oh, I'm excited for you. Have you planned your route yet? Do you know whereabouts you're going to do it? You just around it somewhere?
Well, I was going to do it on my own, but then I remembered that there's other people running London. So I've asked a guy called Rich if he was running on Sunday, doing a long run. And he said, yeah, I'm thinking of doing 20 miles. So we're going to go and do it up the canal into Birmingham and back.
Oh, okay, cool. That'll be fairly straightforward then. Yeah.
But like not through Tardybig and all that lot. So not on all the dirt paths. We're going to start nearer Birmingham where it's like more tarmacy and
closer to Bourneville. Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. Oh, epic! That sounds really good. Oh, exciting.
Yeah, should be fun. Should be fun.
Yeah, that's good.
Fraser did. Guy called Fraser did say we could go and join him, but he's flying at the moment, and he wants to start a bit earlier. He's a very early riser on a Sunday. And both me and Rich went, it's probably a bit early, and we don't want to just look at your back for 20 miles as you fly away from us.
Yeah. Trying to hang on to him. Yeah.
So
probably a good shout. Yeah, cool.
But yeah, I'm in a much more positive place, so that's good.
Love it. Good. Cool. Well, for me,
how's your week been going?
Yeah, good. I've run every day.
What week are you in now?
I'm currently in week 11.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'm at the first week of my peak weeks. 11, 12, and 13 are going to be peaks.
Yeah, because you're doing 16 weeks, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
With 3-week taper. Yeah. So last Saturday, I don't know if I mentioned on the podcast or not last week. No, I didn't. After we finished because we did a morning podcast last week, didn't we?
Yes.
So I went out and did a 10K run on that loop that you've run around with me. Yeah. And I did just 2 lots of 10 minutes on my own, just at marathon pace, which was quite testing up and down the lane. So that was quite a good fun session. And then Saturday went down to Worcester Woods Parkrun, ran I think the whole thing with Chris Dorr, which was nice.
Nice.
And we kept that really nice and easy. And I was as pleased he was. I think that the pace was nice and easy because that 10K session the day before and the other Worcester sessions I'd done as well. And knowing that I've got a Sunday long run coming up as well, I was just really grateful to have a nice, easy Saturday park run. So did in total 7K with did a first lap warm up to try and empty Daisy's tank. So she doesn't have any incidents. And then Sunday went for a Mother's Day run. Not with my mother, though. You might have already seen this if you've seen my video, because I'm up to date on my videos.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm not. I've caught up.
I almost was. I'm not anymore. But there we go.
It's so easy to slip behind, isn't it? Sunday I did 26.5K, which was about 15 or 16 miles.
Nice.
And I ran up from my mum's house in Bromsgrove up to Barnt Green, and I totally forgot to consider that Barnt Green is basically Birmingham, which is uphill.
Yeah.
And getting up there was, you probably know it quite well. You know, when you get to Burcott, a place called Little Leaf Garden Centre, I turned right up to Barnt Green that way, past Blackwell. And that was just good Leeds training. Let's just say that was a good, solid 2 mile uphill. But I kept the whole run steady. I didn't want any heroics. I was very, very, nonchalant, really. I was really just taking it, not easy, but keeping it steady. So keeping everything slightly slower than last year's marathon pace, if you know what I mean. So it still wasn't a hard effort, anywhere near a hard effort. So I ran that at 5:15 a K or 5:13, I think I got in the end, which is probably about 8:30 a mile, 8:35-ish, which I enjoyed. Then Monday came along, and then I went for a run, just a nice recovery loop, just took Daisy out, and that was quite nice. And every run I've done this week has been in the sun, so it's been really nice. Tuesday, went to club, and I didn't double on Tuesday because I don't need to this week. Next week, when I start to build, I will. Yeah. And Tuesday night, went to club, and now, because the clocks have gone forward, we're on the grass. I think we're going to alternate between the grass and the road for sessions, I think. And it was just a level of effort that I didn't expect. It was only around the football pitches and around the school football pitches, so it was dead flat. Yeah. But the session was either 6x800 or 8x6. I can't remember. I think it was 8x600. And I was in Merv's wake. I let him carry on, because he's a minute faster than me over 5K. So I don't really, it would be great for me to hang on to him, because that would probably make me double as fast, quicker. But I also think it maybe not be the best idea at the moment.
Pushing it a little bit too much,
Yeah, and the coach actually made a little teacher's pet comment to me, which I quite liked. She said, "I like sensible runners, and it's good to see you being sensible." So
good.
Because she's noticed that I've started doing these Tuesdays and Thursday sessions now. And she said, it's good that you haven't just completely just thraped to these sessions, and you're not not being sick at the end of every session. I said, just give it a month and you'll see the real me.
Yeah. But, let me get the marathon out of the way, and I'll be smashing my body to bits.
Well, I don't know if it's the same at BNR, but when you get to, or maybe this is most club sessions across the world, I don't know, but there's always like two options you can choose. So there's a group that does the short fast stuff, like the 8 and the 1500 runners. They'll do faster reps but less of them. And then there's the endurance group, and it's normally the guys with no hair who do the endurance, and the kids who are like 21 and under will be doing the fast stuff. And no, I really genuinely enjoy it though. I've since paid me cash, and I'm now a fully paid up member of Worcester AC. So
amazing.
And I've already got my vest. So I've got the yellow vest. So I might make its debut at Two Castles maybe.
Ooh.
So I'm quite looking forward to wearing that. So
have you bought one of the Saw ones for £100, or have you just gone?
I'm tempted. I am tempted, because I look at John Broome and his vest. He's done the same, hasn't he? So but there's something pretty savage about having a bog standard club vest, isn't there? I don't know what it is. It's just it's not even a brand. It's not even branded as, and it's like, it doesn't feel particularly good to wear, but I don't know, something pretty cool about it. So I don't think at the moment I'll be spending £100 on that. But quickly, my laps around the football pitch were, for 600 meters, which I was quite pleased with, was 2:21, 2:28. So went out a bit quick. 2:30, 2:30, 2:31, 2:32, 2:28, and then 2:22. So start and the finish were pretty decently paced. So I was quite pleased, and they were all around about that sub 20 pace, which I was really pleased with.
What you've got to remember as well is you're on grass, which is more effort. So it's a completely different thing running on the grass, isn't it, compared to running on the road? Just the effort level that you need, and the variance in, obviously you know this from all your trail running, but running at speed across grass, it doesn't half work your ankles, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because of having that stability of all the little bobbles and things underneath your foot.
You probably do need to concentrate a little bit more as well for your foot placement and stuff. But we were doing jog recoveries in between, and it was like they had this little route around the little five-a-side football pitch that we had to take. And by the time you'd done that, And the coach would literally say, just slow down those jogs, your recovery jogs, because you're doing it a bit quick. And when these coaches say that, well, I listen, because I feel like I would be a real idiot to not listen to these coaches that are literally watching me do these reps. And that's the big difference with Worcester. They literally watch you like a hawk. And they've said to me, keep your head up. When you run, you think about your form. And they're just really pro good habit, pro good habits,
They're coaches for a reason. They're there to coach you and to help you get better. They're not there just to watch you as you run round. So the advice that they give you is going to be good advice, and it's going to be advice to make you better. So you would be a fool not to listen, really.
Yeah. And just quickly, going back to what you said about get the marathon out of the way and then the fast stuff will happen.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Merv's going to do. So in the summer, he's going to move down. He's going to move down with the 19-year-olds who are doing the really fast 2.5 minute, 200 meter reps, because he wants to get super fast during the summer. So whether I'll do that or not, I don't know. Whether I'll keep up the endurance, I'm not sure. Yeah. But that's probably what he's going to do.
Summer of speed.
Yeah, everyone loves the summer of speed, don't they? So yeah, we'll see. Then Thursday came, and I did a double day Thursday. So I did a 10K run on the hills with Daisy, which was amazing. There was a lovely sunrise, and just obviously I just love it up the hills. And I was chatting with Leggett Lee this week, who's a big fan of the Malverns. I didn't realise that. Yeah. So he said he knows the Malverns very well. He used to go up there every week. So we were chatting about the hills.
I saw Lee yesterday, actually. As a big reveal, as we haven't said it yet on the pod, he is now a fully fledged member of BNR.
Amazing. So all three Neil brothers.
Yes. We've got the triple threat of the Neil brothers. But I was chatting to him yesterday, and because of their really good results at Stafford, they've both now beaten Lee's half time. So he's now on the warpath to try and get his title as fastest Neil back.
Oh, he's going to be so dangerous, isn't he, this summer? He's going to be. Yeah, he really is. Yeah, he's going to be savage. But then on Thursday, which was last night, went to track. And last night was a pyramid session, which I've never done before.
Oh, nice. Yes.
And it was 200, 400, 600, 800, 1,000, and then back down to 200. And instead of changing the pace, it was just pick a pace and hold it.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And I'm really pleased with myself for not going out faster. Because when you do that first 200, not only is 200 over before it starts, you think, oh, that did feel a bit easy. Really? I could probably do it faster than that. But halfway through that 800 rep, knowing that you've still got 1,000 and an 800 and then a 600 and the rest to go, you're thinking, thank God I didn't go out any quicker. So, I kept the pace to somewhere between 3:55 and 4 minutes a K. So under my, around about my 5K PB pace.
Yeah, nice.
And it just felt really, really good, and managed to pretty much smash that session. I felt really, really good. I was on my own for it because, of course, Merv had just cracked on. He was running like under 90 seconds for the 400. He was running about 86, 88, I think. And I wasn't quite running that pace like I was doing for my 400, for example. I did a 90 second. So he must have been well under 90. Yeah, my kilometer was 3:56, bang on. 3:52, and then I did a harder 200 to finish. Which was 41 seconds. So pleased with that.
During that session, you'll have run what?
5K?
Just over 2.5 mile of effort.
Yeah.
So like just over 4K in the efforts you will have run, won't you? So it's basically like a broken up 5K anyway. So if you're keeping that pace across that session, that's good. That's a good sign.
And it was 60-second recoveries on that, so not a hell of a long time to recover, especially when you do the 8 and then the 1,000, then the 8 again, and then that 600 burns. But then you get that 600 out the way, you think, it's only 1.5 laps left, and and we're done. So yeah, really enjoyed that, and that was my first pyramid session on the track. So yeah, hopefully we'll be doing more of them.
Hang on,
and that's when
I've got the maths wrong there, haven't I?
I think it is 5K, isn't it?
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
So it's a 2 and an 8, and then a 4 and a 6, that's 2K, then 1,000, then a 2 and an 8.
Yeah.
And then a 4 and a 6. Yeah. So 5K.
Yeah, it is 5K of effort, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, really
perfect.
pleased with that. And then this morning I thought, shall I have a day off? Nah. So I thought I just got out for a trail run this morning. So because I don't know if it's the same up by you, probably is everywhere in the UK at the moment because we've had no rain for such a long time. All the fields are quite dry at the moment, and it's quite nice to run around. So the usual 5K dog walk that I do with Daisy, I ran it. So it was really good. So ran around the fields, and sun was shining, birds were singing, nice little spring morning.
Excellent.
And so that puts me up to about 60K already, which is about 40 miles ish. And yeah, I've got a long run on Sunday to do. I've got Parkrun tomorrow. And yeah, I've just had a really, really solid week so far. So
good work. So
yeah, and I think I'm really enjoying the double sessions as well, the Tuesday, Thursdays.
Yeah. Because that's very different for you, isn't it? Doing Tuesday and Thursday rather than Wednesday.
I think if I'm being honest with myself, I mean, everyone could say this to themselves. I probably could attack them a bit more. I probably could do them harder. But I have just got this inbuilt braking system within me that slows me down because I'm always conscious that I'm going to injure myself, that I'm going to overload the effort. Yeah. So that's maybe why I don't thrash out the speed reps like I probably could.
But also at the same time, you don't need much more than 5K pace at the moment in your reps because you're training for a marathon. You're not training for a short race.
I'm not training for a 3K. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I see what you mean now about the sprinters. They remind me of, like, you know, when you're watching an Attenborough documentary and you see the lions or they just lie around, just chilling on their phone.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they'll just burn past you at Usain pace for 20 meters because they just do, they practice getting out the blocks, just doing 20 meters of like full pace. And then I'll sit down again for half an hour. I could do that. Why did it
it's mad, isn't it? It's crazy.
I should have been a sprinter. I could train like a sprinter any day. So yeah, but it's really good when we do the club nights because the Worcester Athletics Club is such a big club across the age groups that you've got, people throwing the shot put, and then you've got people doing triple jump technique. Then you've got the sprinters in, what is it, lane 8, and got the hurdlers coming past you in lane 6 or whatever it is. And I just really genuinely enjoy the environment, and it's
it's exactly the same on a Tuesday and Thursday for us. Yeah, you've got the young, like under 15s running around doing their sessions with their trainer a little bit earlier, and then those sessions cross over slightly with the younger, faster group who are blasting around running 400 reps stupidly quick.
And they can shift, can't they?
Yeah.
It's disgraceful how fast those kids can run.
And then the older guys like me, but we're in our middle distance. Well, I say middle distance. We're the distance group. Because although we do some on the track, like a lot of us train for marathons and half marathons and stuff, so we're more of a distance group. We've had some young blood come in recently, so lots of lads in their 20s and stuff. So really good. And then obviously we're on the track some weeks as well, and then all the field stuff's happening. It's just it is really such a great atmosphere to be in, isn't it?
And I'm now seeing why it's 3 times the price of Black Pear, because Black Pear was more of a, I guess, more of a social thing as well as a physical thing, and the fact that they've got a Wednesday track session is for a lot of them is the cherry on the cake because they can do track. But the Worcester athletics club, it's like you get a newsletter every you get like a month training schedule ahead. You know exactly what session you're doing, the drills that I've talked about when we start, the technique, the constant coaching that you're getting every rep. You're getting encouragement from not only the coaches but the other runners, and the environment is a really, really healthy one if you want to grow as, dare I say it, an athlete. You know, if you want to get quicker, it couldn't be a better environment.
Yeah, I'm so happy you've made the jump and you've gone for it. It's you're gonna love it. And as I said to you, you got fast at Black Pear. You're gonna be flying now. You're at Worcester.
Yeah, hopefully. So I've still got a target of not sub 19 minutes from a 5K for 2025, which, by the way, my watch now says for the first time in my life, I'm now sub 19 prediction. I'm now 18:57.
Yes.
For a 5K. So yeah, I've got to stop sandbagging myself now.
Amazing.
And Worcester are actually doing a open track day. And I don't know whether to just say, I could do a 5K time trial. Yeah. And it's 10 quid. It's 10 quid to enter. And I'm tempted to just see what I've got.
Well, I'm hoping to see you at some of the Vets League races this year.
Maybe. We'll see where my speed is and see what events I can possibly do. I don't think I'd do a 3,000 because I think that is too... I was talking to Merv about this. 3,000 is like the 5K is... It's not a sprint, is it? It's nowhere near a sprint. It's a measured... Mm-hmm. It's an endurance event, isn't it? A 5K.
Yeah.
3,000, you could argue, is more of is still endurance, but on the faster side. 1,500 and 800 terrify me because that is a sprint basically for 3, 4, 5 minutes, however long it would take you. But like, a 3K is bad enough. 5Ks are bad enough.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I could do a 3,000 because the how many laps is that? Is it 12?
Well, the 5,000 is 12.
3,000.
3,000 is 7.5 laps. 5K is 12.5 laps.
12.5 laps. Yeah. Well, then again, when I did that mile time trial just before Christmas, I did quite enjoy that. But I know it's obviously twice as far as that, so I don't know. But yeah, who knows? I'll see how I feel towards the summer, and
nice.
Yeah, might have to go spike shopping.
Yeah, you saying about what's called predictions? My Koros has changed again now. I think it's possibly due to not doing any speed sessions. My marathon predicted time has gone down, so they think I'm going to run a bit slower now. But it still says I can run a 2:42.55.
It slowed right down.
Yeah,
2:12.
It's 2:42. It reckons I can run, but I'm not going to be anywhere close to that. But the other ones are fairly close. 5K, it says 17:05 now. 10K, 35:10. Half marathon, 1:17. But what is quite good though is what's called on the Koros. So your training load, it puts in like this. So it tells you whether your training is overtraining is the red. The orange where it is at the moment is optimized.
Okay.
And then you've got maintaining fitness in the green, and then you've got what are the other ones? Performance. So when you're tapering, ready to race, and then decreasing when you're losing fitness. And all of mine recently has been in that optimized. So my fitness is increasing, which is good. And then at the top, you've got the load impact, which is how intense your training has been. And that's the blue one that you can see spiking. So when I've done like big mileage and stuff, the load impact is quite high. But then the green line you can see is your base fitness and like whereabouts you are compared to where you have been and stuff in the past. And it says now that my base fitness, what are we on, is on 175 at the moment. And if I go back to last year, so this time last year, where are we? It was on 176.
Just before Manchester.
Before Manchester. So
good.
I'm hoping. So that's my. Hang on, if I can. That's my yearly overview.
Yeah, well, it's natural for it to come down, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then to get back to where you are. In marathon fitness, you're always going to feel towards the end of the block, you're going to feel good, aren't you? But thank God you've been doing all them miles on the bike.
Exactly. So hopefully, even though it's been a very different block to last year, hopefully my fitness has kept where it needs to be, and I'll be able to put a good shift in. We'll see.
Yeah. Exciting. Cool.
But have you? Oh, that's another thing I was going to ask you. Sorry, just to throw another spanner in the works. I know time's ticking on. Have you decided watch wise?
No, I'm still in the market. I am tempted for the reason that I know you went from Apple to Coros, but I am tempted for that reason to stay with Garmin because I've got so much data across the years.
Yeah.
So that is one thing that might keep me with Garmin. I've looked at the Enduro. I've looked at the Phoenix, the really expensive ones. And I'm thinking, maybe, if my life revolves around this thing, maybe it should be the most expensive thing that I invest in to do with my running. Maybe it should be the mecca of my running career because everything revolves around this thing. It's my data collector, isn't it?
Yeah.
So maybe spending a 200-300 quid on a watch, maybe that's not as expensive as it is. Maybe I should go a little bit more and get something that is maybe a bit more sturdy and is better battery life and that sort of thing. But I've got a lot of options. There's so many good watches about.
What is the price of the upper end Coros ones? Do you know?
There's the Vertix, which I was looking at. The Vertix 2 Pro, I think it was called.
I'm going to go on to sports shoes and have a look. Hang on.
So the Vertix 2 Pro on sports shoes is $598.99.
Oh man!
But that's got offline maps, and that is something that I would really, really want. I can't remember what the model above that is. Do you remember what it's called? Apex 2 Pro. That's the one below. Sorry, and that was the one I was looking at. The Apex Pro.
Yeah, the Vertix is the top of the range. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I did go for Coros, I think I might even look at that Vertix one. But then you look at a few videos online and, people are comparing the two and they're sort of saying, well, if you want NASA level data, then go for the top one. But really, apart from that, there's not a lot it's negligible, the difference between a lot of the models, which is why people end up coming back to the Pace 3 and the Pace Pro because they've got everything you really need, including amazing battery life, really good, decent heart rate monitor sensor if that's what you use, and it's got a really good user interface. So
okay, so they do an Apex and an Apex Pro, and then they do the Vertix after that.
Yeah. So someone has recommended me the Enduro 3, which is 770 quid. The Garmin Enduro 3, which is a lot of money to spend on a watch, isn't it? But imagine losing that. Like, imagine how easy it could be to lose your watch.
Or you fall over on the trail and scratch it.
Yeah.
You'd be gutted.
Yeah. But some of these are made of like sapphire, or the glasses, the glasses made of like, I don't know what it's made of, but it's so bomb proof. Some of the watch displays are really, the watch material is so strong.
Yeah.
So the other one I was recommended was the Epix Gen 2, which is a little bit more affordable. That's 325 quid. And apparently that's pretty good. And then Merv from Club was saying, well, if you've got the Forerunner, stick with the Forerunner and just upgrade to the 965. And that's and that could be the obvious thing to do, because I've already got the Forerunner. I wear that all the time. So I've got the 945. Why not just go for the 965?
Yeah.
So yeah. Lots to think about, but I need to make a decision really, because I need to get sorted before the marathon. I need time to get used to using it and set it up the way I like it and stuff. So maybe over the next week or two, I'll make a decision and get one. But yeah, I'm still no nearer a decision, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the tough thing, isn't it? With gear, there's far too much choice now.
I know. You go down one alley and you go down another one. You go down another one. You think, well, I'm no closer to making my mind up than I was when I started.
Yeah,
because I've got all this information. Information is blooming annoying sometimes, isn't it? But yeah. So yeah.
Right. So shall we move on to some comments and emails?
Yes, let's. Do you want to start with some comments first?
Shall I blast through the comments and see what we got?
Yeah.
Let me just bring them up. Right. So we've got one from a couple of weeks ago from Liz Brown. And she says, I love the Bumble Bimble race. You need to do it, Andy.
I've
done it for the last 3 years, and we'll be back again this year. Yay.
Cool.
And then thanks for the mention, Brett. Even though I was 4th on the Strava segment, the ladies are doing great. And yes, they are. Every week on the Strava segment, the ladies, man, the amount of mileage that they are doing is crazy. But so the Bumble Bimble, you need to do it apparently, Andy. I know
I'm on the
people who have
website
done
now.
it. I know
29th of June,
people who have enjoyed
2025.
it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Interested. There are two distance options: 5 or 11 miles.
Oh, okay.
Starts at the Park Gate, Bromsgrove. Yeah, I know the Park Gate. Oh, the Park Gate. That's on the Kiddie Road, isn't it? Yeah, I know that. I know the Park Gate. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Cool. So next one's from the Great 772, and he said, "Thanks for the advice. I tried going hard." So this was a couple of weeks ago, and they had a race on the Sunday, and we were giving them advice on the Friday that they might not even hear before the race on the Saturday because we were behind times when we gave the advice. Now we're reading the results of it a couple of weeks later. But he said, thanks for the advice. I tried going hard today for just 1K and got a 3:52, but was almost toast. So a PB will do for now.
Yeah.
Update.
Nice.
Got a new PB of 21:31. Have to temper my expectations in the future and mix in proper speed sessions from now on. The warm-up idea was perfect. Wicked.
Amazing.
So well done for that. Brand new PB. Cannot be unhappy with a PB. So great work. And I'm glad, the warm-up worked well. Then we've got the Sam Rules, I'm guessing that username is. And they say, I had vertigo really bad a few years ago. The doctors told me to get some hay fever nasal spray, and it sorted me out within a couple of days. Think it was the Beckinase steroid one they recommended.
Okay.
So that could be a fix for you, because you do get quite bad for hay fever as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So that could be a contributing factor, seeing a spring has sprung, and that's when you got your vertigo.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
So thank you for that, Sam. And then this is from our episode 54. So quite a while back, Mushroom Man, and it's Run Like a T-Rex, Dave. He says, every other dad in the world shouting Beaconsfield as you try to remember the name of the services at the bottom of the M40. I can hear Partridge now. The working man's blue water. The sales rep Centre Parks.
I've always called it Beaconsfield. I could have sworn it's Beaconsfield, but yeah, it's spelt Beacon in it, so it's Beaconsfield. Yeah, I've just always called it Beaconsfield.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Beacon, sort of being.
Can we have someone from like actual Hertfordshire though, or wherever it is? Can they confirm that? Because Dave's from like Cov, you're from Redditch, I'm from Bromsgrove. We could be saying it wrong.
Can you confirm that I'm right, please? Thank you.
Please, just someone put us out of misery. Yeah.
Yeah. And then at the end of that comment, which is brilliant, Dave then says, also, just like my diet in the 90s, this podcast is 60% waffle, and I'm here for it.
Who are you kidding, Dave? That's your diet at the moment. Same as me.
Yeah,
it's a carb loading diet.
Next one is from Anya Todd, and it says, great to hear that you're doing the Two Castles, Andy. After hearing you boys wax lyrical about it, I decided to book it this year. Sounds and looks like it may be not the PB course, but we are already doing ourselves justice if we don't lick the stamp and send it. Sub 40 crew, let's go.
Yes.
So, yeah, hopefully see you there, Todd. Fingers crossed I will be there, but I don't know. I'm not sure. It all depends.
Depends on how.
Well, it depends, because I had a phone call, doctor's appointment today about my hernia, and they're referring me to the surgeon to try and get it fixed. So I don't know. I don't know when that will be. It may be that I go onto a big long waiting list, because my dad has got a hernia as well, was running the family, and he got his appointment through to say that he could get it operated on, but in a year's time. So hopefully it's not a wait like that, but never mind. So yeah, fingers crossed I'll be at Two Castles, but you'll be definitely running it, won't you?
Yeah, it'll be my next sub 40 attempt. So yeah, Todd, let's do it.
Nice. Next comment is from Ben Ruth, who I guess is related to Sam Ruth. And yeah, on our episode 57, they have just put a heart. So yeah, I'm guessing that is a relation of Sam Ruth and the super speedy 15-year-old over in New Zealand. So thank you for that, Ben. And then next is Dee Cookrees, and she says, well done, Leanne, Victoria, Liz, Kaylee, and all the other ladies smashing out the long miles at the moment, and the lads doing 80+ mile weeks. Incredible. I'll be cheering you all on and living vicariously through you all for a few months while taking a break from the long distances post-ultra. I only did 26 miles last week, and it was blissful. Not to mention a shock to the system. I will miss trying to squeak onto the ladies' leaderboard top 3, as it's a great motivation, but I do need to take some time off as I'm starting to feel a bit broken. I'm in awe of all the runners who can keep that kind of mileage going indefinitely. Enjoying your marathon training adventures, Brett and Andy. Looking forward to hearing all about the peak weeks.
Oh, cheers, Dee.
Yeah, thanks, Dee. But yes, I can completely understand that with the mileage that you were smashing out, Dee, that you may start feeling a bit tired and a bit broken. So yeah,
it's unsustainable, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So rest up, recover well, and we'll see you back in those silly mileage weeks again very soon.
Yeah, it won't be long till she's signed up to another ultra.
Yeah, definitely. And then we've got a couple more. First one is from Inga Gade 951. And they say, after this conversation about North Korea, I don't think Kim in this country will allow you or both even to come into North Korea. You'd both be banned forever.
Let's see if we can get him on the podcast.
Come on, Kim. Get on here.
What do you prefer, Audi or Lidl? Miles or kilometers?
Yeah. Haircut 1 or haircut 7?
Burnt at the stake or Labour camp?
Yeah. Then next one is from Run Like T-Rex again from last week's episode. It says, "Great pod, guys. Top running at Wolves, Andy."
Cheers, Dave.
And I think this is to do with who topped our leaderboard on Strava last week, and a little play on how his name sounds. And he says, "Can we all agree that Matt Hember sounds like a Lad Bible event where everyone celebrates on average 6 to 7 Matts that we all know for an entire month?" So it's a month of Matt Hember. A bit,
Matt Hember, like November.
A bit like Movember, where we celebrate moustaches for a month. But he has at the end put, "I appreciate the irony of stating this while being called Dave, which is about as bland and common as it gets." So, but there we go. And then finally, and this one has just made me chuckle when I've just read it, and it's from No Bips Just Bops, and it says, it's from episode 57 where we were talking about like distances and things like that, and working out how far things are on the track, and we used the distance of the track to try and work out what 0.1 of a mile was. And their comment says, "Shout out to the boys trying to figure out what 10% of 1,609 is in the most convoluted way. Never change."
You're welcome.
And we could have just gone, 10% of 1,609 is 160.9. So 0.1 of a mile is 160 meters, or 161 if you want to round it up. But to work that out, we said, right, so a mile is 4 laps of the track. So a quarter of a mile is 400 meters.
Don't forget the 9 meters.
That must mean, so 1.25 mile is 200 meters. So 0.1 is about 150, 160 meters. Yeah. we could have just worked. Yeah, we could have worked that out so much easier. But there we go. So that is all the comments. Thank you so much to everybody for commenting, and keep it up.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go into some of the emails now, and I'm going to start with this one that came in today, but it's topical because it's today's shoes news. This is from Kerry Vine, and she says, "Hey Brett, hey Andy, my shoes news is I bought a pair of Kinvara Pro. I bought a pair of Kinvara Pro, which I think are Sauconys, aren't they?
Yes,
and I love them. In fact, I bought 2 pairs. They are light, fast, and comfy, and will be my marathon trainers. I'm training for Newport Marathon. This is my 2nd marathon. Last year I did Manchester, but it took me 5.5 hours. But to be honest, I didn't train properly. This time I've done loads of training, got PBs in all my distances over the past year or so, and I'm hoping to run a 4:30 marathon at Newport."
Ooh,
anyways,
amazing.
Love watching your YouTube channels, especially the podcast, and it keeps me going on my runs. I'm going to go and try a Parkrun PB tomorrow, which I think, must be literally the 5th of April tomorrow.
Yeah.
And she's got it down. This is from Kerry Vine. I can't remember if I mentioned. Kerry's got it down from 30 minutes to 26.
Amazing.
And she's looking to go sub 26 tomorrow.
Excellent.
So, cheers, Kerry.
She's running Newport, did you say? Which is next Sunday, isn't it? A week on Sunday.
Yeah, it's like the early teens of February. Is it like the 15th or something?
Of February? What?
Of April, sorry. It was 3 months ago.
I think it's next Sunday, isn't it? It's the week after Brighton, isn't it? Because it's 2 weeks before London and Manchester.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So 13th of Matt Hember. Yeah. So I'll tell you that. God knows when it is. Yeah, but it's a week Sunday. Yeah. So best of luck.
Amazing. Yeah, best of luck, Kerry. And I love that. I like a pair of shoes, so I'm going to buy 2 pairs.
Good thinking.
Sort of thing that I do. I buy a pair of shoes, and they just sit in the box because I've already got a pair that I use all the time. Yeah.
That's genius. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck. But to take an hour in a year off.
I was going to say, yeah.
Wow.
Some pretty good going in it.
Yeah, and that's what training can do. Being consistent, you can reach for the stars and take that much time off if you put the training in.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Amazing.
all the best for next week, and I hope it goes really well, Kerry. So we're going back to the 18th of March now for this one. This is the last time we read out emails. This is another shoe question, and it's to do with Adidas, so I'm going to give this over to you.
Okay.
This is from Ian Stenson, and he says, great podcast, boys. I run in Boston 12s and Evos. I use the Bostons for intervals, etc., and Evos for long runs. Would either be okay for a 10K race or a half marathon. Got the Birmingham 10K in May. Maybe see you there. Keep up the great content. Love the pod and the videos. Cheers, Ian Stenson. So, what do you think?
I would say you could race in both of those shoes if you wanted to. If you didn't want to get a race day specific shoe like a Takumi or Adios Pro, if you didn't want to do that, you could race in either the SLs or the Boston 12s. I would say the Boston 12s would probably be a bit more poppy because they've got the rods, and they'd probably give you a bit more because obviously the SL2s, they haven't got a plating. They've got a midfoot shank, I think, same as the Evo SL. So there's no plate at all, but it has got Light Strike Pro for the whole length of the shoe, sandwiched between normal Light Strike 2. So still really good performance. I was doing all of my sessions in the SL2 before my SL2s like reached mileage, and I think you can pick up the pace quite well in them. But the Bostons, they've got the Light Strike Pro on the top, a layer of Light Strike 2 underneath, and the rods sandwiched in between them. So they've got a bit more of a racy sort of feel. Yeah. So I would say if you wanted to race in either, you could race in the Bostons, no problem at all.
Yeah. Well, that's some good advice from our resident Adidas connoisseur. So if you've got anything, any questions, Adidas orientated, get them in, and Brett will be happy to. He's always happy to chat Adidas.
Damn right. Can I also mention the Evo SLs? Oh,
you loving them even more.
They're so good. Now I can run a bit better mate. They're even better than they were. Just, I'm loving running in them. And I mean, I bought them just before I got injured, didn't I? I managed to do one long run in them, and then got injured. So I've not really been running that much. And even though I've already hit 137 mile in them.
They do make long runs so much easier, don't they? And a lot more fun.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think they've been a really good investment. And I mean, for me, I mean, if I was going to run a 10K race, I probably wouldn't reach for them because I've probably got options I prefer to put on my feet. But some people's shoe rotations is just like, in the nicest way possible, simple, because they don't, for whatever reason, they don't want loads of pairs of shoes. So maybe you just want an easy day shoe, which would be great to have as your Evo SLs. And then maybe if you've got your Bostons, which you've got to do for your faster stuff, which I totally get, because I think you can easily run easy recovery pace in those SLs, even up to 5-10K pace if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
But the Bostons, obviously, do they lean towards the faster stuff than the easy stuff?
Yeah, because they've got the rods. They are more of a session or a pacier shoe. Yeah.
So that sounds like a good match. Yeah. Well, the next email is from our pal Gazmando, Gary Manders.
Amazing.
And he's written in to do with your injury. So he says, hi, and says straight away, he says, I'm not one for giving out advice for injuries. And if any injury isn't stress fracture and is connected to the glute, have likely tried everything, but I have suffered a similar problem from a lower back into glute, which manifests further down in the chain in the knee, calf, and shin. But I found a stretch which gave me instant relief from the glute pain. Can't remember the name of the stretch, but you will find it on a channel, I presume it means YouTube, called Athlean X.
Oh, okay.
Knee and calf pain was stopped by locating a tiny muscle at the back of the knee called the popliteus, which connects calf and hamstrings, and applied pressure with a thumb for up to a minute, or when soreness stopped, if sooner, gave me instant relief. May I also suggest that you use a different drop of shoe for some runs? And I know that you are training for a road marathon, but you have a short choppy stride, which fast turnover with little backlift. And you have run and I know you have run cross country, but maybe a regular weekly run on trail, maybe your easy run will alleviate some of the overload, as trail works the body a little differently, and being a natural surface, less forces should be traveling through the body than on man-made surfaces like the tarmac. And he says, he follows up by saying, slight correction, popliteus is in the same area as hamstring and calf, but not directly connected to either, but can give relief to both because of relaxing the popliteus helps with the stabilization of the knee, which affects other links in the chain. Cheers, Gary.
Right. I shall have to check that out as a stretch for sure. I have thought about trying out different surfaces and stuff, and like we did the warm up on the grass the other day, and obviously we went to Wire Forest Parkrun the other week because I wanted something rather than tarmac to run on. So I have mixed it up a little bit, which is good. I did on Monday try and run down the canal on the softer surface, but once I got to the entrance to the canal at Tardybig, the stretch of canal is closed to pedestrians, so I just had to carry on the road. But with shoes as well, I do mix it up because I've been running in the Evo SLs, but I've also been doing some of my easier stuff in the Supernova Prima as well, to mix things up and not just have one drop or one type of shoe. So that's good advice as well. Changing up your shoes and not just running in the same thing constantly is really good advice, because then you're changing things and your body's not getting used to one style of running. Go on. What were you going to say?
I've noticed that my ankle strength has changed over the last couple of years because of running once or twice a week on trails. Like I know I do my weekly hill run on the Malverns, and the terrain underfoot is quite unstable there. And the amount that I seem to go over on my ankle, because it does happen occasionally, probably for me every 4 weeks, but the amount that I do it, and not only that, the recovery is so much better. And the amount that I do it is so much less, because I feel like maybe I'm just better at running on trails and I'm a bit more confident. I don't know. But I do feel like I've built up more of an ankle. I don't know. The muscles in my ankle just seem to operate a bit better on trails now. So I do think there is something in running on trails. Yeah, definitely.
I used to have glass ankles and I used to roll them and they used to be terrible. But once I started running cross country, my ankle strength is so much better. And it's because of that stabilization of yourself, because of all the undulations that are there. You are working your ankles a bit more. So that is a really good bit of advice as well. The only thing I will say is I'll probably have a look out for what is it, the popliteus muscle or something that he said. I'll probably look out for that, but I probably won't go to the Athlean X channel because he's well known for being a bit of a Billy Bull.
Oh, I don't know this guy.
Yeah, right, so within the health and fitness and bodybuilding scene, he's very popular with his fans and people, and he's a big YouTube channel. But a lot of the other YouTube channels, advise you not to follow his advice because some of it's not the best. So
all right, say no more. All right. Well, the next one is in from.
But thank you for that, Gary. That's awesome. Thanks, mate. I'm going to check out that popliteus and see if that loosens up further.
Yeah. So could be something in that, couldn't there? Definitely is. And Gary knows his stuff. He's been around the block enough times, Gary, so he knows
exactly.
He knows a bit,
exactly.
This is from Lorne Downey. Lorne's the guy, I think, who's going to be doing Leeds Marathon as a training run for his monster trip up to the Hadrian's Wall. The wall. Hope you're both well, enjoying the weekly training videos. Have either of you heard of David Goggins' 4x4x48?
Yes.
You have to do a 4-mile run that begins every 4 hours for 48 hours. If you complete it, you will have done 12 by 4 mile runs over the 48 hours, totaling 48 miles. I'm going to tackle this challenge on Easter weekend as part of the wall training to get used to running on tired legs. At all times of the day and night, with very little time for rest and recovery between runs. Is it something that you would attempt? The sleep deprivation and the lack of recovery time is going to make this a real battle. Wish me luck. Thanks, Lorne. Wow.
I have been very tempted by that numerous times. I've watched several videos of people doing it and I've been going, oh, that looks good fun, that does.
Yeah, because it's 4-mile run every 4 hours. I mean, that's just an annoying amount of time, isn't it? To not be able to really rest.
Exactly.
Like going to bed at midnight. Or I don't know what'd be worse. Getting up at midnight for your midnight run and having just done your one before at 8 o'clock. I don't know, or God knows, at 4 a.m.
Would you use exactly the same route every time as well?
You'd have to, because what about if you end up running 5 or 6 miles accidentally? Yeah. Or I don't know. I probably would, because it's quite, in the nicest way possible, it's quite a monotonous, robotic challenge. So why not make the route similar? You're not doing this for fun, really. It's quite a sufferfest. Yeah. So you may as well try and add to the mental turmoil by making the route hard.
Would you go for a loop that you could find that was 4 mile, or would you go for 2 mile out, 2 mile back?
For me, it would have to be circular because I could do it both ways.
Yeah.
I think I'd alternate circular routes, and I'd probably
that makes it less robotic.
It does, though, doesn't it? Yeah. Or take a sleeping bag with you and just keep seeing how far you can get in 48 miles. Take a tent.
That would be brilliant.
So see how far you can get in 48 miles.
As soon as you watch it's 4 miles, just put your tent up, couple of hours sleep, then back up.
That's what I do. But no, it does sound like a really, really difficult challenge. And it's that discipline of running when you know you really can't be bothered, when you feel like you've got nothing left. Yeah. And 4 miles.
I've got nothing left. Phil, I've got nothing left.
When you're proper Ian Beale in it. And then you've got to go and run 4 miles. Because that's not a short amount of distance. So it's not a 5K. It's 4 miles. Yeah. It's quite a long way. So yeah, best of luck with that, Lorne. So Easter weekend, that's about 2 weeks away, isn't it? Maybe 3. I don't know when Easter is this year.
Well, Easter is the week. I think it's the weekend of London. Is Easter weekend?
Oh, is it the late weekend? Is it the last weekend of April?
Oh no, Easter Sunday's the 20th, so the week before London.
Yes.
So 2 weeks on Sunday is Easter Sunday.
Right. Well, moving on to the next one. This one is another medical one based. I feel very attention seeking because it's all about me, darling. This one is about vertigo again. So Phil Blackett has written in, but this one is a really, really good one. And can I also thank so many people for writing in or texting or whatever about saying that they get migraines or vertigo, because I did feel like a massive drama queen, but it turns out that loads of people actually do suffer with this. So I feel like I'm not on my own. So thank you for that. So Phil says, hi, Andy, regarding this week's podcast and your problem with vertigo, your symptoms are the same as I used to get, approximately every 6 months, lasting for 1 to 2 weeks. However, I've got older. They seem to be less frequent. Sounds like a problem of crystal buildup in the cochlea, which is the curly fluid tube filled tube in the inner ear. Here are 3 quick suggestions that might help. Research the term Epley maneuver, which is what we talked about last week, which is on the internet. It's a sequence of head moves that can relocate the crystals in the tube to where they don't cause the balance issues. 2, find that sleeping in a position that keeps your head above the level of your heart helps greatly. And 3, I was prescribed beta histine tablets to ease the dizziness and nausea. I hope that this helps. Phil. Well, there's some really, really good advice there, Phil. Cheers, because it's one of those things that not a lot of people seem to be able to know much about. And I feel it was like one of those things you couldn't really just take a pill to help yourself. You couldn't really just take like a paracetamol or a ibuprofen. It was like every time you open your eyes, you feel dizzy. Every time you close your eyes, you feel dizzy. So it's not a very pleasant feeling. But thanks, Phil. Some really, really good suggestions there. So this one is called Question Time. So I don't know how many questions there are, but maybe Will is going to be grilling us here. So this is from Will Ford, who's written in before. Will did Valencia. Here we go. Hi, both. Last time I wrote in was a post at Valencia. It spiraled out of control, talking about crab powders and Andy's prawn cracker binge. Crab powder. This time I've actually got a genuine question. Yeah, if you spell something wrong, we will read it out verbatim. It's like a scene out of Anchorman. If you spell it wrong, Burgundy will. What was it he says? I can't remember what he says. I can't remember what Ron Burgundy says now, but they spell something wrong. I'm Ron Burgundy. You put a question mark.
You put a question mark at the end.
Teleprompter.
But the other one is go yourself, San Diego.
Yeah. Oh, funny stuff. What a film that is. Okay. I work 12-hour shifts, a mixture of days and nights, which means the majority of my running is done on days off or before nights, with the occasional run after a 12-hour day shift. I struggle to sleep before 5:20 alarm, meaning that I'm physically tired after a day shift. However, I've noticed all my easy runs post day shift, despite feeling tired and drained, are at a lower heart rate and slightly faster pace. Any ideas why? Potentially more carb intake through the day, something as simple as it being cooler weather by 7 p.m. Anyways, love the pod, and as you probably know by now, I'll see you both in Valencia for round 2.
Nice.
That we will. So that sounds marathon training on 12-hour shifts. Can I just say, mate, that's very admirable.
Yes.
To be working that long and hard and be, doing something as hard as marathon training with a demanding lifestyle like you've got. Kudos to be even still in the game, to be still training as hard as you are. So you're probably maybe better qualified to talk about this than I am, because I feel like my running is a little bit more, I don't know. You work like really late and then you get up really early, and you're probably better at answering this because you
running on tired.
Running on empty. So any ideas why some days it feels easier?
Now, this is something that you've got to be really careful about, because low heart rate when you're running can mean one of two things. It can mean that you're really fit and you're running at a decent pace with a low heart rate. So it's just conditioning, and you feel good. But a low heart rate can also be because you are absolutely exhausted and your body's completely cooked.
Yeah.
So it could be either of those. And if you are feeling particularly tired and you've not had that much sleep, it could be that your body is exhausted, and that's why your heart rate is so low. So this is something you do have to be careful with, and monitor the effort that you're putting in, not just work off heart rate. So if your heart rate is low and you're running a bit quicker, does it actually feel like you're running quicker? Because if you are, then possibly slow it down a bit. But if you are, if the effort feels easier, then it might be that it is just a little bit easier and you don't feel too bad. So heart rate is one of those interesting things. That's why I don't use heart rate very often. Like recently I've used it over the last couple of days because like when I've been when I've been running, getting back into it, I've been checking my heart rate just to see whether I'm working too hard and stuff at different paces. And like I've been quite happy that I've been running like 7:30s and slightly quicker, all in zone 2. So it's a good indication of where you are. But sometimes it doesn't actually tell you the full story, because sometimes it's lying to you. So yeah, just be careful. Maybe work off effort rather than heart rate. Don't always believe your heart rate.
Right.
Especially if it's off your wrist as well, because wrist heart rate sometimes is never correct.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things that can change that metric, aren't there? Like sweaty wrists, gap between your wrist and the watch, the temperature of the watch, temperature of the weather. Yeah, there's all sorts of things that can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I was on the cross trainer last night, and I was in like zone 1 on the cross trainer, and all of a sudden I looked at my watch and I was in zone 4. And I was like, okay, that's not right, because I'm not puffing or anything. And 2 seconds ago, I was in zone 1. So, yeah, it just spiked for no reason. And then all of a sudden came back down again. So, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, good question, Will. And did you actually say what you're training for at the moment? I don't know if you're actually in a spring marathon training block at the moment, but we'll see you in Valencia, if not before.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll have a crab powder when we see you in Valencia with the boys. It's gonna get out of control. Lads on tour on the crab powder.
Get the crab powders in, lads.
So we've got to. I'll just rattle through these. We've got a few more. Now this one is an interesting one. This is from Dan, and it's the title of the email is called "Flogs or Vlogs." Hello, you pair of vloggers, or do I mean floggers? Long-time listener, first-time caller. I've just binge listened all of your eps from start to finish, and while I agree with almost everything that you've ever waffled on about, never a truer word has been spoken about the button mushroom. Here I am thinking that this only happens to guys with small willies. It's reassuring to know that a couple of hunks like you two with 3 legs suffer the same disease. Anyway, I've rambled off topic. I wonder where I learned that. The one thing that I did find myself shaking my head at was the way that you two believe that just because you've got the right to run and film makes it okay for you to film everyone around you. Maybe the next time that you're running along filming looking like a bold James Bond, spare a thought for the ogre that you're running beside. Not all of us are okay with the way that we look, just as the way that you have the right to film. Some of us have the right not to be filmed. Other than that, keep on keeping on. Great pod. Cheers, below average Dan.
Okay. Cheers, Dan. Yeah, I'm not sure how to respond to that.
I don't know if is bigging us up or having a go at us, but it's kind of both in one email.
But when I know that when I'm filming, I'm not filming anyone else. I'm not trying to capture anyone else in my footage. All I'm trying to do is just document what I'm doing. So yeah, obviously people are going to be in the background of the shots because just the way that it is. If you're in a race, you're surrounded by people. So when I'm talking to the camera, there's going to be people behind. And there are a lot of people who wave or say hello or want to be in the shot. But yeah, I can probably understand that some people don't want to be in it. But how would I know if somebody doesn't want to be in it? That's that's the thing I'm not sure about. Because I'm sure that there's photographers at every race taking photos of everybody.
Yeah.
So would they be as annoyed by someone taking photos of them as well? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Dan, here's the cold hard facts. Unfortunately, some of us have the right not to be filmed. Unfortunately, that's not legally true. Nobody has the right not to be filmed. If you're on public property, you can do what you want within reason with a camera. And you can film the police. You see it all the time on YouTube videos. You can film anything for as long as you want. Obviously, if someone came up to me and said, I'd prefer it if you didn't put that bit in your video, I'd probably
100%.
very probably say, yeah, okay, fair enough.
I've had people at Parkruns come up to me and say, I was walking with my child whilst you were filming. Could you not put that clip in? I was like, no, 100%. I wouldn't put like kids in there anyway if you don't want them to. So yeah, fully understand that. So if somebody came up and said, don't put that in, I wouldn't put it in.
But also, Dan, it sounds like you've got a bad opinion of yourself, calling yourself an ogre.
Yeah,
mate, don't be silly.
Yeah, come on, you're out there running, and you're doing a good thing and a positive thing that everyone is there to support you with. There's no one who's going to be having a go at you for getting out and running. Yeah. Everybody that's out there running with you is there doing the same thing, and positive about it, and would be positive about everybody around them. I don't think there's anyone who would be angry.
No, and I don't think I've ever been sizist or ageist or anything. I don't think I've ever, and I've certainly never laughed at anyone or poked fun at anybody for anything. So, and I know you don't or never have done either, and I never would. That's not in my nature. If anything, it's the opposite. I love people that try.
Yeah,
you know, I love people that are trying just like we are. We're trying.
Yeah.
Like it's the effort, it's the joy that it brings, and we're all doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about Parkrun is when you pass. So if it's a lapped course, when you pass people on the second lap or the third lap, and they cheer you on, and you cheer them on as you're passing them, and it's great. So it doesn't matter what pace you're running or like how you run. Everybody's supportive of each other, which is awesome.
Yeah. So I'm sorry if we've ever made you feel a certain way. Maybe you've appeared in one of our videos before. We will never know because you know, how will we know? But rest assured that we'd never ever make fun of anyone, and that's certainly never our intention. But I'm not going to change the way I do things. I never, it's good to listen to feedback, but that I will not change. I'm always going to film the way I film. At public events, the general public are going to be in the back of my videos. And sometimes I'll have a chat with them, and sometimes they'll be involved. Sometimes it will just be me. But no, I'm certainly not going to change the way I do things. I'm always going to take my camera to events because that's what we do.
But also what we're doing by documenting our races is capturing the positives and a positive thing. It's not like, because as you said, you can film anybody in public. There are people out there that go out and film people to cause a nuisance, and they'll go up to police, and they will and they will purposely cause a scene and try and capture it on camera.
They'll like that Charlie Veach guy. He not goads homeless people, but he'll go and interview homeless people who are probably mentally unstable. And before you know it, there's a bit of a commotion in the town centre, and then all of a sudden he's filming. It's great content.
And he's doing it for the wrong reasons. He's not doing it to be positive about things. He's doing it to try and get controversial footage that people will then interact with, whether they agree with him or not.
Yeah,
and he's all about interaction through the comments, because then it gets views on his things. Whereas what we're doing is we're documenting a joyful, happy, positive experience that we're having, surrounded by people who enjoy exactly the same thing as us. So, But there we go.
Dan, don't worry about it, mate. We
Yeah.
We would never obviously mean to offend, or we had never got bad intentions. But thank you for calling me a bold James Bond. I wear a Dickie Bow next week.
Yeah. Amazing.
So I'll tell you, we have got 2 more emails, but they're both from 2 of our female listeners, from Dan Bladiander. And I think maybe we'll leave them until next week. We've got one from Heidi Bush, from Tassie. I think that's what they call it, Tasmania, or I've just made something up, Tassie. And we've got another one from Amelia, who's written in as well before. So, we'll start with those next week.
They're not pressing issues, are they, that we need to...
No, they're not. Well, Amelia's one is about, the title is The Woo, Japan, Socks and More.
Okay, that sounds quite long. Yes, we'll get to that next week.
And Heidi's one is... actually, this might be useful. I'll just quickly read it. So this one is about nerve pain. So this is for you.
Oh.
So this is from Heidi Bush, and she says, "G'day, Brett and Andy. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for reading out my email back in episode 50. I'd written to you about Andy's awesome sub-20 parkrun. I mentioned a tough year that I'd had after a freak injury that landed me with a fractured femur. I heard you read my email as I was on a long walk in place of my long run, and thank you for your encouragement on that. It really did put a smile on my dial. There I was heading down the road, feeling well chuffed with a grateful grin on my face. As I listened to you sharing my email, I'm now ticking along with my recovery and back to running again, and continue to take you along with me on every run or walk. So thanks so much for all that you do, and the podcast is every shade of brilliant every time." But enough about me. I've actually written just to share something about Brett's nerve pain. I'm glad to hear that it's starting to feel better, but I thought I'd flick these links to you anyway. So along this email, she's actually sent some actual links that you can click on in case it was any help down the track. I've also experienced nerve pain, which for me refers to my feet. When it first happened years ago, it felt like I was walking on a broken foot, and it stopped me running for months. Then a few years ago, I came upon these articles and videos on the I Run Far website and used the nerve flossing, and it really helped. Yes. I've since made my own variations of lower body nerve floss compared to some trunk mobility when I feel that nervy pain creeping back in. I started flossing every 3 hours, and it usually knocks it on the head within a few days. When I heard you talking about your nerve referral pain, I just thought I'd flick these to you in case that you hadn't seen them, in case it might be of some help. There's some articles about nerve pain and running and the signs that pain may be nerve related, and some videos showing the mobility and flossing exercises. And then she says, "Thanks heaps again for your fantastic content on your individual channels and the podcast, and I would also add to the folks saying some merch would be great with international shopping, please. Cheers from down under. Happy running, Heidi Bush, Tasmania, Australia."
Amazing. Thank you, Heidi. I will definitely check out all those links. As I have suffered from piriformis syndrome and nervy type pain for a few years, I do quite a bit of nerve flossing, but I've never done it every 3 hours. So I'd normally do it like once a day. So possibly I need to step up the game and start being a bit more on top of it, which might help a bit more. But every night before I go to bed, I do a bit of nerve flossing at the moment, just to try and loosen it up a little bit. But yeah.
Well, all I'm thinking of in my head is the floss, the dance, the floss.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not that, is it that? It's not. I'm guessing it's not that.
No, it's not the dance, the floss, and it doesn't involve tooth floss either.
Oh, it's a shame.
Like dental floss. No, it's basically where you can do it sat down, but you can also do it lay down and with your leg held in certain positions and stuff. But it's all to do with flexing your foot, and pointing it forwards or pointing it up towards you, whilst you're also bending your head forwards and backwards, and you're basically flossing your nervous system and stretching it out, and basically giving it some room to move, so it's not so tight and being like pressed upon so much.
Right. Well, yeah, that's a really good email. So
yeah,
Heidi,
thank you, Heidi. That's amazing.
Well, this is a long podcast. Should we just make it even longer? Shall I just read Amelia's?
Go on then. Yeah,
it's only
why not?
It's only 7 pages long. So Amelia likes a long email. She really
R.I.P. hard drive for tonight.
Yeah, everyone's in their London last long run, aren't they? So everyone's doing their long run. So what's another 20 minutes? Right. So Amelia says, "Hi, Brett and Andy. I assume that you will do special rates for shipping your merch to some of your OG listeners, correct? Just kidding. I'll grab it off you when you come to run Sydney Marathon, when Leaning decides to sponsor you both. Honestly, though, I hope someone from Adidas comes across this podcast. I'd love it if you could be their VIPs. We could be the new Tin Man Elite, couldn't we?"
Yes. It seems like Tin Man Elite are losing all the Adidas sponsors. So Adidas, if you want to send any this way, that'd be lovely.
Now, Amelia has said she sent us some quick fire notes. So here we go. Some quick fire notes to get out of the way. Apologies. Some of these go way back. Hair. Brett's new hairstyle is fire. Looks really good. Fire starter. Only a couple of days before your Firestarter episode came out, I had a few Prodigy songs slip through into my Spotify shuffle, and it goes hard when you need to push through some tougher sessions. I think Firestarter will go into my marathon playlist for the April race. Oh, you're racing this April. I'm glad we've read this out. So hopefully you'll you'll listen to this in time for your marathon. Socks. My feet are extremely prone to blisters, even after running for years. Only one brand of socks has ever worked for me. Whilst they are not the prettiest ones, and the only model that really protects my feet is ankle high, it may have to take functionality over style and compensate by paying extra attention to the rest of my running outfit. The brand is called Baleega, B-L-E-G-A, Baleega, and I think that they specialise in socks. I don't know if you've ever come across these in the UK.
No.
S&C. Everyone can choose to train how they want. I'm not here to convert anyone. I really just want to say that it works wonders for me. I also recall Brett saying to Andy in 2024, something along the lines of, you get more value from 30 minutes in the gym compared to extra 30 minutes of, he's nodding, to 30 minutes of running. So after failing to reach my full marathon target last year, and after picking up an injury mid last year, I've committed to doing S&C at least once a week. Mixed gyms are not my cup of tea, and women-only gyms have got their own issues, so I'm doing all the sessions at home. I hate it, but I'm finally doing it, but I've been doing it now for the past 9 months. I firmly believe that S&C helped me avoid injuries in the training block and also helped me bring my 5K half marathon PBs down to times that I thought would be beyond my abilities. The jury's still out on how much it will help me in the full marathon, but I'll find out very soon. Running in Japan. A couple of episodes ago, you asked your listeners to share stories that they have about the Tokyo Marathon. Whilst I've never run the Tokyo Marathon, last year I ran a smaller marathon in Japan. It had about 12 to 13,000 runners, and it felt very special. Don't get me wrong, I love local marathons in Australia, but the one I did in Japan was just different. It seemed like every person in town, from tiny babies to 100-year-old senior citizens, all came out to either volunteer or support us runners. The foods at the hydration stations were more like hospitality stations, were very unique, and everyone was just beaming with energy. When across the line, the reception I received was akin to winning the Olympics. It's definitely a running environment that I hope that you will experience. I'm not saying that it's better or worse in Sydney or London or New York. It's more that because it's so different to the usual Western marathons, it hit me in a different way. Interesting, very topical.
Does it say what Japan marathon it was? Was it Fukuoka or
what you call me?
Other one?
What did you say? You can Fukuoka up. You can Fukuoka right off.
What's it? What was the other? Is it the Nanjing marathon as well? The only reason I know of all these Japanese marathons is because I listened to the Australian running podcasts. So I listen to Inside Running Pod, and I listen to For the Kudos as well. And they're always talking about Japanese marathons because Australia is quite close to Japan. So a lot of the Japanese athletes go and run the Australian marathons, and the Australian athletes go and run the Japanese marathons.
But it's a bit like us going to run Valencia. It's like a fast,
exactly,
a really fast running culture, or really, that they love it out there. So we all go out there to run, and I imagine, Japan is. I don't know how far away that is from Oz, but it's in that neck of the woods, isn't it? In that neck of the woods, it's probably like a 9-hour flight. Right, now this one is about the Woo. We still haven't really unpacked Will's amazing achievement, really. The Woo. Will's channel was one of the first ones that I started watching when I got into running a bit more seriously. Whilst our times are vastly different, his resilience and determination are contagious and inspiration to men and women across age groups. As unorthodox as it may sound coming from a complete stranger on YouTube, I'm really proud of Will's accomplishment to finally break 3. It helps to keep myself grounded in my 3rd attempt to break 3:20 this April. And I've got a bit of a buffer for my BQ. Wow, 3:20. Oh, Amelia, come on. It's on. Special shout out to all the Aussie and Kiwi runners listening to this. This email should have had its own podcast. It's still got 2 questions to go. Special shout out to all the Aussie and Kiwi runners listening to this. You're all superstars, and I wonder how many of you I've crossed paths with when we run. Smile and nod as we pass each other while listening to this podcast. For anyone training for an upcoming race, you got this. Only 2 questions today. Thanks, Amelia. Brett and Andy, if Netflix reached out to make a movie about running the red line and you had to choose the actors, who would you pick to play Brett and Andy?
Oh, man. I don't know. Do you want to pick who it is for me, and I'll pick who it is for you?
Yeah, okay. I would go with someone like, for you... You could, seeing as we've said him today, I think Will Ferrell could take on Brett Elesmore. Because you've kind of got the curly top, and he can rock a moustache like Anchorman.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, that's I suppose that's a good one.
Daniel Craig.
Yeah, bold James Bond. Now, unfortunately, the first thing that came into my head, yes, I know it's taking the mick a little bit, but I found it funny. So hopefully everybody else will. I'm going to go with Danny DeVito.
I knew you were going to say someone 4 foot tall. I thought you were going to say Warwick Davis, to be honest. I knew you were going to say that. I just knew it. I absolutely knew you were going to say Danny DeVito. I just knew it. Either that or, shocking. I
think that would be an amazing film. Yeah. Will Ferrell and Danny DeVito in Running the Red Line.
Yeah, let's get Netflix on the phone. As always, oh no, Hans, another question. Brett and Andy, when you have a race coming up, which of these is a stronger motivator for you? Option 1, people believe in you, they hype you up, and you start having this kind of confidence that you can do it. Or option 2, people doubt your abilities, they don't believe that you can reach a particular target, so you can get this chip on your shoulder along with the growing force to go out and prove them all wrong. So do you prefer to be,
that's a tough one, because
believed in or doubted?
The support and people believing in you is an amazing motivator, but then also the getting a bit between your teeth and going, I'll show you.
Yeah.
It's also amazing at pushing you on, isn't it?
YouTube's great for that. People love to give you their opinions, and people will tell you that there's no chance you're going to run a 3:20 in Valencia. And when you do it, well, 3:21, but who's counting? It does feel good. So, and sometimes it's healthy.
Opinions are a bit like the bumble bimble, like bumble holes, aren't they? Everybody's got one, but I don't want to see it. Yeah.
I think I'd go with option 1. I think. Yeah, she says.
Biggest motivator of the two. Ooh, I do like the support, but do you know what? That I'm going to show you that competitive streak in me sometimes wins out. So possibly second.
So I'm a sensitive soul, I think, and I think I like an arm around my shoulder. I think I like someone telling me that I can do something. So yeah. But she says, P.S. Selfishly, I am very much motivated by option 1. So if at all possible, could I please get an "It's on Amelia" for my upcoming race? It's not me that's got to say it. It's you.
It's on, Amelia. It's on. Come on, mate. It's on.
Right, there we go. I'll put that on the end of my. I'm going to change my the end of my outro to my videos now. There you go. It's on, Amelia. Come on, 320. Yes. 320. Just keep saying that to yourself. 320, 320, 320. As always, keep up the good work on the pod. It's so good. All the best with your spring races. Go out, enjoy it, and of course, take care of yourselves. I'm glad we read that.
Yeah, I mean,
that was a really good email.
Yeah.
And email that is actually is not far off an anagram of her name, Amelia. So, Emalia. It's on, Emalia.
Good day, mate. We've got an email here from Amelia.
Oh God, mate, it's 20 to 11.
I know.
How do we do this? 2.5 hours.
I've got to edit this and everything before I go to bed. So
I was thinking, no joke. I was thinking of doing a parkrun in Wales tomorrow morning in Hay-on-Wye.
Yeah.
So yeah, it might have to just be. Might just have to be
Worcester Woods. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be. Get out of bed and do Worcester Woods. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, good email.
Amazing. Yeah. And the fact that we've got listeners all over the world is
crazy.
It's crazy. I can't believe it. It's incredible. So thank you so much.
Who listen to a podcast that's nearly 2.5 hours long. This will be a PB today, I think.
Yeah, possibly.
So yeah, absolute craziness. So thank you so much to everyone that's listened. Yeah, if you're on the other side of the world, amazing. Thank you.
Very quickly, we just need to do the Strava segment.
There it is.
So, last week's leaderboard. In first place, we had the month of Matt Ember.
Is he back? Has he done it again?
He has. Sorry, Matt. But Matt has topped the leaderboard once again with 80.8 miles for the week. So awesome work, Matt. Second place was Simon Lee with 76.6. And third was Kyle Blacketter with 76.6 miles. Our climbing top three, first place was Nick Ireland with 6,417 foot. Rich Steedman was second with 5,318 foot. And Jordan Knapp was in third with 4,242 foot. So amazing. Awesome work from all of you. And then our top three ladies this week is actually a top four. For one specific reason, which I'll say in a second. So in first place was Aveen D with some awesome running and 58.1 miles. And then in second place was Rachel Watson with 56.6 miles. And then in second place was Victoria Lee with 56.6 miles.
Wow.
So joint second, both got exactly the same mileage. So well done to both of you. So because of that, we are now going to have joint second. And in third place was Leanne Byard with 56.2 miles. So only 0.4 of a mile behind. So amazing work, all of you.
You watch everyone do a 20-mile cool down now on their last after parkrun to make sure they win.
But amazing work. But yeah, with that, because it is getting late, we're going to say thank you so much. Thanks for listening or watching. Remember, tell your friends, tell random people you meet on the street that Running the Red Line is the place to be. And yeah, get that subscribe account and listen account. Let's get it to the high heights of all of these other rubbish podcasts that just talk about running. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys. Danny DeVito, I can't believe it. I knew you were going to say that. Knew it.